Hi everyone, welcome to the fourth webinar of a series of webinars conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming management case study examinations held in May 2023. And my name is Nick and I'm one of the lead tutors and evaluators for MCS at TCS. So I hope by now you should have watched the three webinars which we have done previously. So in the first webinar, we gave you a study plan, a 6-week study plan. And in the second webinar, we took you through the first part of pre-scene analysis. Then in the third webinar, which is the most important one, we highlighted answer planning as well as time management technique, because whenever you are practicing your mock exams, it's of utmost importance that you stick to these time management techniques as well as answer planning technique, or else you cannot master it. And in this session, in this webinar, I will be taking you through examiner's comments with the intention of highlighting what is requested from you, what the examiner expects from you, because it's better to understand what the examiner expects when before you start preparation. So that's that. And in the second part of tonight's session, I will be taking you through or providing you tips and hints pertaining to what you need to do when it comes to developing confidence, because as per the CIMA examiner, confident students end up passing the exam comfortably. So you need to have a positive mindset both before the exam as well as during your exam. So I'll be highlighting what you need to do to develop a positive mindset or develop a high level of confidence both before as well as during the exam. So uh, moving on to the first part of tonight's session, I'm going to take you through examiner's comments as I told you earlier. So as per what the examiner has highlighted, good answers require relevance to the requirement. So if you are to develop good answers, you need to understand the requirements clearly. So that's exactly why we have asked you not to start typing your answer right after reading the question. Instead, you have to spend some time to develop something called an answer plan. So when you are developing the answer plan, as I highlighted in webinar number 3, when you are developing the answer plan, you are expected to have or gain an in-depth understanding about the requirement. So as you would have seen already, if you have started attempting your mock exams, if you have attended our master classes, again, you have learned these things. So within the master classes, we have highlighted that within a certain subtask, you might have 2 or 3 requirements. So, when you go through mock exams, you would see this as well. Within a certain subtask, there will be 2 or 3 requirements. So you should spend some time in order to understand these requirements clearly. So that's exactly why we have asked you to stick to an answer planning technique. If you stick to it, then you'd come up with answers which are of high relevance or which are aligned with the requirements which are highlighted within your exam paper. And when developing answers, you need to show to the invigilator that you have a necessary level of technical knowledge. Just having technical knowledge won't help you. You need to have the capability to apply that knowledge um, and apply it to the questions which are thrown at you. So that's exactly why we said that you need to follow our master classes, especially if you're coming through an exemption route, because what we've understood is most students coming through the exemption route, coming to the master's gateway program or coming through FLP, lack a clear understanding, particularly pertaining to P2 and F2 related areas. Most students find E2 to be comfortable because it's highly theoretical. There aren't any calculations to be done. However, when it comes to P2 and F2, most students struggle, especially if you are coming through an exemption route. So in order to understand or in order to gain an in-depth understanding about these technical areas, it's better to follow the master classes which we are conducting, because via these master classes, uh, based on based on explaining the suggested answers of all 5 mocks, we are teaching you theory. So when you learn theory, um, which are highly applicable to an exam scenario, then you will improve your application skills as well. So you need to understand or have a good understanding about theoretical areas, as well as you need to be in a position to apply this knowledge. Just because you know your theory, you can't pass the exam. You need to have the capability to apply this knowledge to a real exam question, or to a real exam, to a real corporate environment which is depicted within your exam. So if you attend our master classes, you will fulfill all these three things. You will be in a position to understand the requirements clearly, and you would be in a position to learn theory as well as application, thereby in being in a position to come up with good answers at your real exam. And on top of that, as per the CIMA examiner, you are supposed to provide well-structured answers. So that's exactly why we have suggested you guys to stick to an answer planning technique, because if you attended webinar number 3, you would have seen the type of answer plans you are supposed to develop. If you attended our master classes, we have conducted 2 master classes so far. So if you attended these master classes or watched the recorded versions of these master classes, you would have understood what I'm talking about, because in these master classes as well as in webinar number 3, we have explained how to develop answer plans, well-structured answer plans. So if you develop answer plans, you are spending some time to think and come up with high quality answers, well-structured answers. And whilst developing the answer plan, you can also think about the type of pre-seen information which can be brought into your answer with the intention of increasing the value of your answer. If you get all these things right, you will come up with a good answer. And whenever you are developing your answers, you are not supposed to provide single line sentences or sentences as answers, or you are not supposed to provide answers in bullet points. Instead, you need to develop paragraphs. So as I've stipulated in webinar number 3, for instance, if your answer plan consists of 7 points, 7 answer points, then you need to have 7 paragraphs within your answer. And we have reiterated these same points within the 2 master classes which we have conducted so far. And whenever you are bringing up an argument, you cannot just simply recommend something to the board members or your senior finance manager. Instead, whenever you are coming up with a recommendation or a suggestion, you need to back it up with appropriate justification. So if you go through the master classes, you learn these things. Whenever you are recommending something like a KPI, you cannot simply say, okay, this KPI should be used within the company. You need to back up your answer, back it up with appropriate justifications. Okay. So if you are to develop good answers, it needs to be relevant to the requirement. You need to show to the examiner when providing answers that you have an appropriate level of technical knowledge, and you need to focus on your application skills as well. And you need to spend some time to develop an answer plan so that you'll come up with a well-structured answer. When developing answers, you need to utilize paragraphs. And whenever you are supposed to provide a recommendation, you have to back it up with appropriate justifications. If you do all these things, you'd come up with a good answer. All right. So the examiner tells you something or some activities which you need to do before the exam. So what are you supposed to do before the exam? You are supposed to study all areas of the syllabus. So this is a killer, because as you have, as you know, as you should already know by now, the MCS syllabus is vast, and you have to go through hordes and hordes of theoretical content. So in order to make your life easier, because when you are preparing for the exam within 6 weeks, if you are to spend a lot of time on studying syllabus areas, you won't have enough time to attempt mock exams and focus on improving your answer structures, answer planning technique, and whatnot. So in order to make your life easier, what we have developed is, we are teaching you theory. As I told you earlier, we are teaching you theory as well as application via the master classes. So you need not study any syllabus content. Instead, simply attend the master class, or if you fail to attend it, the recorded version will be uploaded on the website. So via these 5 master classes which we are conducting, we are teaching you theory which is relevant for your MCS exam. So we have covered all theoretical elements via our 5 mock exams. And since we are via the master classes, since we are explaining the answers of all 5 mock exams, we are teaching you theory covering the entire management level theoretical content. Okay, so you need not spend time in this in these areas where you are supposed to go through syllabus content. We have covered these things via the master classes. And you need to when you are practicing your mock exams, you need to ensure that you are in a position to apply theory to an exam situation or an exam question. And whenever you are applying theory, it needs to be totally relevant to the internal dynamics of the company, Happywell, as well as it needs to be aligned with the requirements which are stipulated in the question. So again, via the master classes, we are covering this area. So you need not worry in this aspect, because as I told you earlier, we are teaching you theory as well as application via the master classes. And the examiner tells you that before the exam, you need to practice tasks. So that's exactly what we have kept on telling you throughout the webinars which we have conducted. We have developed 5 mock exams, and we have been urging you guys to attempt all 5 mock exams under exam conditions to be in a position to pass your exam comfortably. So what I've seen is most students in webinar number 3, I highlighted these facts. Most students wait until the last week or last 2 weeks until the exam, and because they don't have enough time, they end up attempting just 2 or 3 mock exams. By attempting 2 or 3 mock exams, you can't cover the entire syllabus. So in such a context, when you walk into the exam, you'd be shocked to see areas where you never saw within your mock exams. So in order to avoid such a situation, it's of utmost importance that you attempt 5 mock exams. Our 5 mock exams cover all syllabus areas, all exam scenarios which can be thrown at you at the real exam. So practicing these mock exams are of utmost importance. And on top of that, when practicing mock exams, you are supposed to do it in or do it under exam conditions. So whenever you are attempting a mock exam, you have to allocate 3 hours of your time and attempt the entire paper at a stretch, because that's exactly what you would do at the real exam. So why are we asking you guys to practice mock exams under real exam conditions? With the intention of ensuring that you get yourself accustomed to exam stress, because it's not easy to sit in one place and keep developing answers or sticking to the answer planning technique 3 hours at a stretch. It's not easy, because on a task by task basis, you are supposed to figure out whether you are sticking to your time limits, or whether you are managing your time. And on top of that, on a task by task basis, you need to develop answer plans. And after you have developed an answer plan on a task by task basis, you have to keep typing it. So all these things, when you are doing something so stressful within 3 hours, it is not easy. So it's better to get accustomed to these things, these practices, before you walk into the exam. Because then when you are attempting these 5 mock exams, you'd realize what your shortcomings are. And at the real exam, you are in a position to avoid all these shortcomings, because if you avoid your shortcomings or overcome your shortcomings, definitely you will pass your exam. So when practicing mocks, we urge you to do it via our exam platform, because we have developed an exam platform which is akin to the Pearson VUE system you would see at your real exam. So if you do, your chances of passing the exam is extremely high. And we are not just asking you to do this. It is the CIMA examiner who is asking you to practice tasks before the exam. And you are supposed to type or write full answers. So that's exactly why I said you have to sit in one place and attempt a single paper in one go, because I've seen students attempting papers part by part or task by task. So there are students who would do, attempt task number 1 today, task number 2 tomorrow, task number 3 day after tomorrow, and whatnot. So you are not supposed to do it at you will not do it at the real exam. So you don't break up your whenever you are attempting mock exams, don't break it up into several parts. Instead, sit in one place and have a go at it, allocating 3 hours of your time. Why are we saying this? Because that's exactly what the CIMA examiner is telling you. All right, so during the exam, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to plan your answers. So you need not worry in this area, because we have already highlighted how to develop answer plans in webinar number 3. And when we are conducting the master classes, we are utilizing the same answer plans for all 5 mock exams. We are providing our explanations based on the answer plans. And on top of that, in order to make sure that your life becomes easy, we are sharing the answer plans of all 5 mocks under the premium package. All right. So if you go through these answer plans thoroughly, and if you try to replicate these answer plans, then your chances of passing the exam is extremely high. Okay. So the examiner, CIMA examiner, is asking you to plan your answers during the exam, and we have taught you how to do it. And we are urging you to practice the same methodology when attempting your 5 mock exams. And the CIMA examiner also tells us that the marker is under strict instructions to mark answers on their merits. So the CIMA examiner is looking at quality of your at the quality of your answer. Just because you provide lengthy answers, paragraphs and paragraphs of unnecessary information, you are not gonna get marks. Instead, you need to focus on the quality of your answer, and what better way to achieve this. You can achieve this type of quality when you spend some time to develop answer plans. So that's exactly what we have highlighted. So if you stick to the methodologies and the techniques which we have shared with you via these webinars, then it's as if you are adhering to the guidelines provided by the CIMA examiner. All right, so then looking at the marking criteria, 2 markers will allocate marks before the final mark is finalized. Why is CIMA doing this? With the intention of ensuring that marking is done in a transparent manner. Okay, this is done with the intention of getting rid of any bias when it comes to marking, because as I've told you earlier, although you are supposed to take 3 hours to attempt your paper, a marker you usually take something like just 7 to 10 minutes to mark the entire paper. So in such a context, in order to avoid any discrepancies in marking, 2 markers are allocating marks, and both the marks are added together, and an average is considered, which becomes your final mark. And mark allocation for each subtask appears as a percentage under each requirement. So we highlighted what these things are in webinar number 3, because when developing your answer plans on a subtask by subtask basis, you need to understand how many marks are allocated. So these mark allocations can be determined based on the weightages provided under each and every subtask. So that needs to be considered when developing your answer plans, because when you know how many marks are allocated, then you are in a position to stipulate or determine how many answer points need to appear under each and every subtask. So all these things were highlighted in the 3rd webinar. So if you missed it, please go watch the recorded version, because it's of utmost importance that you learn this and stick to this technique when attempting your 5 mock exams. And mark allocations are based on merit, as I told you earlier. So the CIMA examiner is choosing quality over quantity. There's absolutely no point of providing lengthy answers. Instead, focus on your answer planning technique, get it right. Then when it comes to typing, simply expand the points which you have highlighted within your answer plan. All right, so before we move on to the second part of tonight's session, let me talk about what we offer at TCS. So we are in the MCS page of our website, and you can check out our sample material by clicking on this button. And if you're still to check out our free content, simply click on this button and create a user account. Then you can check out the free content which we are offering. And talking about the courses which we provide at TCS, we provide three different packages: the essential pack, the value pack, and the premium package. If you go for the essential pack, you'd get your hands on the recorded versions of the 4 webinars and 5 mock exams with suggested answers. And as I told you earlier, these 5 mock exams have been developed covering the entire syllabus, as well as we have considered multiple probable exam scenarios with the intention of ensuring that you are fully prepared for your MCS exam, and you'd get your hands on the 4 pre-scene analysis videos where we are explaining or taking you through the entire pre-scene with the intention of ensuring that you have an appropriate level of understanding about the information which appears within the pre-scene. And the package is priced at £99. And if you are coming through the CIMA general route, if you have done your E2, P2, and F2, OTQ exams, and if you had aced your OTQ exams, if you had not failed any of your OTQs but gotten really good marks at your OTQ exams, then you have an appropriate level of knowledge about the syllabus content. You have an appropriate level of knowledge about application skills, and in such a context, it's better to go for the essentials package, because since you have the knowledge, you just need to know your pre-scene, and you just need to gain access to 5 mock exams and suggested answers. So that's what the essential pack is about. Then looking at the value pack, you'd get your hands on the 4 recorded versions of the webinars, 5 mock exams with suggested answers, the 4 pre-scene analysis videos, and on top of that, you'd get your hands on something called the annotated pre-scene. So let me show you what it looks like. So it's the same pre-scene which you would have received from CIMA, but we have come up with annotations with the intention of summarizing the entire pre-scene, thereby highlighting only the most necessary and relevant information. So this is done with the intention of making sure that you are not bombarded with hordes and hordes of information. Instead, you are focusing on the most important information only. And via these annotations, we are highlighting probable exam scenarios as well as any syllabus content or syllabus areas which are tested. So all these things can be accessed if you go for the value pack, because you'd get your hands on the annotated pre-scene. Then you'd get your hands on industry analysis slides as well. So these industry analysis slides are prepared considering the real life industry dynamics. Why have we prepared these slides? With the intention of ensuring that you gain an in-depth understanding about the industry, because when you know what happens in a real sense within the industry, then you are in a position to predict the type of exam scenarios which can be tested at your real exam. Okay, so via our industry analysis slides, we'll be providing an overview into the industry. We'll be explaining the competitive landscape. We'll be explaining the industry trends, as well as at the very end, two real life companies will be considered, and based on them, we have carried out an analysis, thereby mentioning the most important information which applies to these 2 real life companies. So after going through these industry analysis slides, you need not do any type of research on the industry. We have done it for you. Then you'd get access to financial analysis slides as well. So via the financial analysis slides, we have conducted an analysis into the financial statements of the company. So all the information is provided in a concise and extremely understandable manner. So you need not, work out your numbers. We have done it for you. And the same should be said about ratio analysis as well. All the ratios have been calculated, and all ratios have been evaluated in depth, yet we have kept it simple so that you can easily grasp what is highlighted within the financial statements of Happywell, as well as its closest competitor. So that comes under the value pack as well. Then you'd get access to top 10 likely issue slides, the case study familiarization kit, and the chat is up. The students who had purchased the value and the premium package can access it via your student platform. So if you have any concerns, you can raise these concerns via the chat, and our tutors are happy to help you guys out with your queries. And you'd get your hands on the theory recaps pertaining to OTQ syllabus content, especially if you're coming through an exemption route. It's better to have these slides at your disposal with the intention of because these slides are a good summary of all the syllabus content which can be tested at your exam. So by going through these things, you can brush up your knowledge in these areas. So the value pack is suitable for students who are coming through the CIMA general route. However, if you had failed your OTQ exams, then it's better or prudent for you to go for the value pack, because then you need some type of tutor support, and you need to access the additional material which we are providing to be in a position to better understand theory, as well as better understand the information which appears within the pre-seen document. So this comes at £199, and the last package is the premium package. If you go for the premium package, it comes with all material which I explained under the value pack, and on top of that, you'd get access to the exam platform, the learning management system, where you can attempt all your 5 mock exams under real exam conditions. Because as I told you earlier, our exam platform replicates the exam platform which you would utilize at your real exam. So we have developed the exam platform to be akin to the Pearson VUE system. So it's better to practice all 5 of your mock exams under real exam conditions via the exam platform. Then you'd understand what your shortcomings are before you attempt your real exam. And we are providing professional marking and one-to-one tutor feedback on 3 mocks 3, 4, and 5. And this is the type of feedback you'd get. So as you can see, on a paragraph by paragraph basis, we have provided in-depth evaluations, highlighting the shortcomings, so that with the intention of ensuring that you pass your exam comfortably, with the intention of ensuring that you understand your shortcomings then and there. And on top of that, at the very end, we provide mark allocations as well on a subtask by subtask basis, and we compute something called the success rate. And when you look at the success rate, you are in a position to figure out where you had fallen short on a subtask by subtask basis. So if you look at these students' mark allocations, the student really needs to improve on task 2B, task 3A, and task 4A. So after attempting the mock exams, after you receive your feedback, you are supposed to work on your own to improve on the areas, or to get rid of the shortcomings or get rid of inefficiencies. So rather than trying to develop answer plans for all tasks, rather than wasting time trying to develop answer plan for all subtasks, the student, after receiving feedback, should only redevelop answer plans pertaining to task 2B, task 3A, and task 4A. So you are not wasting time, you are saving a considerable amount of time. Whenever you are working on your mocks for the second time, you are not supposed to go through the entire mock. Instead, simply you are supposed to work on the areas in which you have gotten, you have not scored good marks. Okay, so this is the smart approach which you need to adhere to when carrying out your preparation. So we have cut down your preparation related time significantly, because we have covered all the areas which you are supposed to do as a student. We have covered all the areas. So it's just a matter of, on a weekly basis, allocating something like 7 hours of your time. Everything else is covered by us. Okay, so, and at the very end, we provide general comments as well, with the intention of ensuring that you further improve the quality of your answer. And if you go for the premium package, you'd gain access to weekly webinars as well as workshops. So I need to remind you that on Wednesday, the third masterclass is happening, where our lead tutor, one of the lead tutors for MCS, Jared, is going to take you through the questions and answers pertaining to mock number 3. And via these masterclasses, theory as well as application will be explained to you. And this comes with a monthly installment option. So the first installment is £99. Unfortunately, the early bird discount which was there expired last week. So the price of the package is, the first installment is £99, and the two remaining payments amounting to £225 each will be you are supposed to pay it in 2 monthly installments. So all in all, you can make the payment in 3 monthly installments, and this comes with a pass guarantee. So what this what this pass guarantee stands for is, if you purchase the premium package and if you end up failing the exam, you would get access to the same material in your subsequent session free of charge. You would get access to the premium package in your subsequent session free of charge if you fail the exam. Highly unlikely that you would fail, because if you utilize our services which comes under the premium package, and if you stick to our study plan, then you can definitely pass your exam. And all products are available until the 31st of August 2023. So if you're planning on doing your exam in August, you can invest right now and start preparations so that you would have enough and more time at your disposal. And we urge you guys to check out our study plan as well, which can be accessed via the website itself. So according to the study plan, we are in the 4th week. You are supposed to attend the 4th webinar, exam prep, which we have done so already. And you are supposed to attempt, the mock 4 by now. And, once you had, attempted mock 4 via the exam platform, you would receive tutor feedback within 48 hours. And you are supposed to watch the 4 masterclasses pertaining to mock 4. So if you are yet to, attempt mock exams, we urge you to do it right now, because you only have 3 weeks at your disposal. So if you wait until the last moment, you would be just attempting mock exams for the sake of doing it. You won't have enough time to work on your shortcomings or get rid of your inefficiencies. So we urge you, we are actually pleading you to start attempting mock exams right now, or else you'd be stuck for time. So if you are yet to attempt any mock exams, start with mock exam 1 right now. In the coming 2 weeks, you will have to, given the shortcoming, given that you don't have enough time, in the upcoming 2 weeks, you will have to attempt 2 mock exams per week. And during the last week, you are only supposed to attempt 1 single mock exam. So I urge you guys to stick to these guidelines. So that's what we offer. So before we move on to the second part of tonight's webinar, any questions, folks? So you might have started your preparations already. You might have started attempting mock exams. If you had faced any questions, or if you need any guidance, you can raise your concerns now. Any questions? Okay, thank you for your feedback. All right, so since there aren't any questions, I'm going to move forward. If you have any concerns, please drop a message on the chat section so that I can, address your concerns later on. So we are in the second part of tonight's webinar, where I said that I'm going to talk about what you need to do to develop confidence. So it's of utmost importance that you create a positive mindset before the exam. If you do that, you are in a position to have a positive mindset during the exam as well. You can't simply walk into your exam and expect you to have a positive mindset. Instead, you need to develop a positive mindset or develop a high level of confidence before the exam. If you do, then definitely you would have a positive attitude, positive mindset at your real exam. So what are you supposed to do to develop confidence before the exam? You need to stick to the study plan. So we have explained the study plan within the first webinar. And if you are yet to start preparations for the sessions which are coming up in May, it's of utmost importance that you kickstart preparations right now. You have to start from tomorrow itself, because there's only 3 weeks until your exam. Okay, and we have provided the study plan which I showed to you a while back. So stick to the study plan, stick to the guidance which we have provided, or else you will not know where you are headed. Okay, so most students, as I've told you earlier, most students fail because they wait until the last moment to start their preparations. And most students think that by attempting just one or two mocks, you can easily pass the exam. That is not the case. Take it from me. I've been, teaching CIMA students for the past 11 years. I myself, studied these things. Like, I never had a study provider. I used to do all these things on my own. I was into self studies. So take it from me. CIMA, MCS exams are not easy. You can't, by attempting just one or two mocks, or, trying to do all your preparations during the last week, you cannot pass the exam. So you have to stick to the study plan. If not, you'll be under so much of stress, so much of pressure, and stress and pressure leads to a negative mindset. And when you have a negative mindset, there's absolutely no chance that you would pass the exam. Because when you have a negative mindset, you would be stressed always. Continuously you will be reminding, your mind will be reminding you that you are under stress, and you will, therefore you will be stressed in your real exam as well. Okay, and it's better to stick to a routine in the upcoming 3 weeks, at least in the upcoming 3 weeks. Okay, if you cannot stick to a routine properly, it's better to practice or stick to a routine in the upcoming 3 weeks. You have to wake up and sleep at a stipulated time, and it's better to allocate something like 6 hours of continuous sleep, because what I've seen is, closer to the exam, since you run out of time because you don't stick to a study plan, most students run out of time. And once you run out of time, what you do is you cut down on your sleeping. So you sleep only for 3 to 4 hours a day, and this is not going to help you, because you need to rest your body and mind in order to be in a position to create a positive mindset. So wake up and sleep at a certain time, allocated allotted time. And if you cannot stick to waking up and sleeping at a stipulated time, you should get your daily meal intake right. Okay, so you need to have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a stipulated time. If you do that, you will fall asleep properly, and you will wake up at a pre-planned time as well. So at least try to stick to a routine in the upcoming 3 weeks, or else you'd find it hard to get rid of undue exam pressure and undue stress. And when practicing mock exams, what are you supposed to do? Practice under simulated exam conditions. This is the only way to understand what type of pressures you'd experience at your exam. So it's better to understand your shortcomings, and understand the type of stress you will feel before the exam when attempting the mock exams, rather than finding it facing all these pressures and stresses for the first time at your real exam. Okay, so practice all 5 mocks under simulated exam conditions. Use our mock exam platform, and when attempting mock exams, do it in isolation, devoid of any disturbances, um, because you need to allocate 3 hours and attempt the entire paper at a stretch within these 3 hours. And whenever you are practicing your mock exams, you need to stick to the exam technique routine. I highlighted these things in the third webinar. You need to allocate 20 minutes for reading and developing an answer plan on a task by task basis, and the remaining 25 minutes should be allocated towards typing the answer. So this is the best practice which you need to adhere to. Simply by knowing these techniques, you cannot replicate this at your real exam. Instead, you need to keep practicing this answer planning technique when attempting your mock exam. So if you attempt all 5 mock exams, and if you stick to these answer planning technique and time management techniques when attempting these 5 mock exams, you will be developing answer plans 20 times over, because in one given paper there are four tasks into 5 mock exams is 20 tasks. So for 20 tasks you would be developing 20 answer plans, and that's enough and more practice for you to replicate the same methodology at your real exam. So if you do these things properly before the exam, then you'd know for a fact that you had done your homework. And when you know that you had done your homework, there won't be any stress in your mind. Okay, so that's that. That's what you need to do to develop confidence before the exam. How can you maintain the same type of confidence on the day of the exam? So on the day of the exam, before you walk into the exam hall, you need to rest your mind and body. So with the intention of achieving this only, we are suggesting you to take a break or a day off right before your examination date. So we have highlighted this within the website as well. Stop preparations a day prior to the exam. Sleep, eat, and rest well. So if your exam is on the 17th of May, you have to stop all your work by the 15th of May. So by the 15th, you stop all your work. 16th is your break. You are not supposed to do anything on the 16th of May. And on the 17th, you go and attempt your real exam. Why are we suggesting you to rest your mind and body a day before the exam, or to take the entire day off before the exam? Because you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. And as a finance manager, you will take better decisions. You will have an open mind if you had rested well, and if you are positive on the day of the exam. So the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So in a real life corporate environment, let's assume it's as if you are walking into office on a Monday. So if you had partied on Sunday, if you had not slept properly, if you haven't had your meals on time, and if you are up the entire night going through documents, or trying to do your office work on Sunday, when you walk into office on Monday, you will be under stress, and because of that, you won't be open-minded enough. Okay, so in order to achieve this type of open-mindedness, you need to stick to these guidelines. It's better to rest your mind and body. Do not refer to any study material, mocks, or answer plans, because that's gonna ruin your mindset. Because I do not want, as a finance manager, before walking into office, you won't go through theory or any documents or whatnot. You will not try to improve the knowledge in theoretical concepts. Instead, you'll just walk into office and do your job. So I want you to stick to a similar method. Do not refer to any study material, mocks, or answer plans. That's exactly what you can see if you check out our study plan as well. So according to the study plan, a week before your exam, in the 6th week, you are only supposed to refer to the answer plans pertinent to mocks 1 to 5 and reread the annotated pre-scene. You are not supposed to attempt any mock exams, go through any theoretical elements. Instead, you are supposed to keep things simple, because you have already done your work up until week number 5. Week 6 is only allocated towards revision. This is done with the intention of ensuring that you relax your mindset, you rest appropriately right before the exam, and think that you are the finance manager at Happywell, and try to let go of negativity, because it's, however much prepared you are before the exam, you'd feel a bit stressed on the day of the exam. I myself as a student felt this. I can remember feeling nauseous on the day of the exam, although knowing very well that I've done my preparations properly. So it's of utmost importance, whenever you feel negative, remind yourself that you had done your homework. You can only do this if you had done your homework. So ensure that you do your homework way before the exam. Do not wait until the last moment, and always be open-minded, because if you are open-minded enough, then you would come up with high quality answers. Whenever you are providing an answer, you would back it up with appropriate justifications if you are open-minded. And during the exam, stick to the exam technique routine. This is of utmost importance that you do it. You can't, replicate the answer planning or the exam technique, time management techniques, which we highlighted on the day of the exam. Instead, you need to keep on practicing it, as I've told you earlier. So stick to the exam technique routine, where 20 minutes should be allocated towards reading and developing an answer plan, and 25 minutes should be allocated towards typing the answer. And it's normal for you to feel stressed. However much prepared you are, there will definitely be a question which, increases your stress levels. Okay, so if you feel stressed, drink some water, because now if you look at a typical paper, as you know, it consists of 4 main tasks. Out of the 4 tasks, one task is going to be extremely hard. That is normal. Okay, that is done intentionally, which the intent so the CIMA examiner gives you an extremely hard task with the intention of throwing you off the plan. Okay, so if you are sticking to a certain exam technique routine, when you are faced with an extremely hard question, you'd forget about your exam technique routine, and you'd, panic, and panic leads to stress, and you'd waste a lot of time. You try to do new things at the exam. So the examiner, CIMA examiner, is actually testing you to figure out whether you are capable of handling stress appropriate. So if you stick to the exam technique routine, you can get rid of 75% of this undue stress. But definitely there will be a hard question thrown at you at the exam, but don't panic. Okay, if you feel stressed, drink some water, because that's the first step you can take towards calming down your nerves. Then close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes. You might think stupid that I'm telling you to do this, because you might think that I'm wasting 2 minutes of my time if I try to, close my eyes and focus on my breathing for 2 minutes. But take it from me, this is going to be extremely beneficial for you, because whenever an individual is stressed, there's this part of our brain which is known as the amygdala. The amygdala kicks in, and when the amygdala kicks in, rationality goes out of the picture. We become 100% emotional. That happens to us human beings. Okay. So if you are stressed, if the amygdala kicks in, you will not provide good answers. Instead, you'll, go off track, and you try to do new things. You will not stick to the exam technique routine, which we have, practiced so far. You try to do new things, and you end up providing bad answers which are not well structured, or you'd run out of time. You'd face some type of inefficiency. So in order to avoid all these things, the best approach is to shut down your amygdala. How are you supposed to shut down your amygdala? By focusing on your breathing. So if you focus on your breathing for 2 minutes, the amygdala shuts down, then rationality comes into the picture again. And when rationality or the rational brain is in function, you'd come up with high quality answers. So close your eyes and breathe for slowly for 2 minutes to get yourself back on track, and remind yourself that you have done your homework. Whenever you see a task which is a bit too hard, remind yourself that you had done your homework. As I told you earlier, you can only do this if you had actually done your homework. If not, God bless you. Okay, so remind yourself that you had done your homework, and always remind yourself that you need just 80 marks to pass. Out of 150, you just need 80 marks. As a percentage, it's 54%. So, even if there is a certain, if there's a certain subtask which is extremely hard, even if you screw it up, still you have enough and more marks to gain, because you are supposed to just get 80 marks to pass your exam. So if you had attempted all our 5 mocks under exam conditions, and if you stick to these guidelines which we are providing with regards to developing confidence and maintaining confidence on the exam day, even if there is a certain subtask which is extremely hard, you can skip it and move forward, because if you had done the 5 mocks, you have learned your theory properly, you have learned your application properly, you had seen the type of exam scenarios which can be thrown at you. So there's absolutely nothing to worry. So stick to the plan, and if you do, you can easily pass the exam. and give your best shot at the real exam, and try to be open-minded, because if you're open-minded, you would come up with well-structured answers. Whenever you are providing a recommendation, you will back it up with appropriate justifications. So in such a context, you can easily pass your exam. All right, so you need to avoid certain deflections at your both, not at your exam, actually, before your exam. Whenever you start preparations, you need to avoid these deflections. Overemphasis on exam blueprint. Don't go through the exam blueprint. Absolutely no point of doing it, because via the 4 webinars which we have conducted so far, we have covered all the relevant areas pertaining to the exam blueprint. So you need not go through it. Over reliance on predictions, there's absolutely no point of relying on predictions. I've seen tutors time and time again predicting about the type of scenarios which can be thrown at you. Absolutely no point of looking at these predictions, because as I told you earlier, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment, and in such an environment, you won't know the type of problems the company might face. So you walk into office, you open up your email, then you'd know what type of problems are experienced by the company. Before that, you cannot predict anything. So there's absolutely no point of trying to focus too much on predictions. And excessive industry analysis is a killer, because this leads to information overload. So in order to avoid that only, we have developed a set of industry analysis slides which are crisp and concise. And on top of that, it only our industry analysis slides depict only the most important and the most relevant information. We have kept out all unnecessary information with the intention of ensuring that you are not wasting your time engaged with excessive industry analysis. And misguided use of past papers is another killer, a major deflection, I should say, because most students, without investing on exam specific mock exams and pre-seen specific study material, what they do is they simply go through past papers. However, the problem is the past papers or the past exam variants are based on a different case study, and the internal dynamics as well as the external dynamics faced by a company, which was presented on a previous pre-seen document, is never relevant to your pre-seen, because the internal dynamics as well as the industry dynamics will be totally different to a previous pre-seen document. So, and it depends the type of questions which will be thrown at you, and the type of syllabus content or theoretical areas which can be tested is dependent on the industry dynamics. So when the industry dynamics are totally different to that of what appeared on a previous pre-seen, then there's absolutely no point of going through past papers, because if you do, then you'd gain knowledge about industry dynamics as well as industry dynamics pertaining to a previous pre-seen, which is not too relevant to your exam. And if you replicate the same information within your answers, then you will not pass your exam. So misguided use of past papers is another killer, and information overload, trying to go through theoretical content, trying to go through your study texts, trying to develop your own study notes and whatnot. All these things will lead to information overload. So simply stick to the material which we have provided, stick to the videos, or just watch the videos which we have provided. Then that is all the necessary information you need. Because take it from me, as I told you earlier, I was involved with, when I was preparing for my CIMA exams, I just I didn't have any study material at my disposal. I was working 24/7. So with that, I didn't have time to attend lectures. So what I did was I did everything on my own. I was engaged with self-study, and as a student who was engaged with self-study, I've gained a lot of exposure about the type of type of study material, or the preparatory work which we do. I know for a fact which are relevant and which are irrelevant. So when developing our study packages, that's exactly what we have done. We have done the most hardest parts for you, because we are providing all the necessary information in a concise and a precise manner, whenever we are conducting a webinar or a masterclass, that's exactly what we are doing. So if just utilize our material and try to attempt a mock per week. If you are yet to start attempting mocks, you can't just attempt a mock per week. Now, since you don't have enough time, you have to attempt something like 2 mocks per week. That's the only task which you need to be serious about. Everything else is handled by us. So you need not refer to anything else. Simply refer to the services which we are providing. And on your part, you are supposed to attempt mock exams. If you are yet to start attempting mock exams, you have to attempt 2 mocks per week. Everything else is handled by us. All right, so you might be attempting your exam at home because after the pandemic or during the pandemic, CIMA provided this facility. So if you are attempting the exam at home, check out this link and read through the content thoroughly before the exam, because this highlights the technical nitty-gritties pertaining to your CIMA exam. It highlights the restrictions as well as the guidelines as to how to utilize the exam platform, and try out the CIMA exam platform by following the guidelines mentioned, because you need to get yourself accustomed to the technical nitty-gritties of the Pearson VUE system. So don't do it on the day of the exam. Don't wait until that. A week before your exam, maybe go to this link and check out all the information. All right, so let me remind you about the pass rate. We are happy to announce that we achieved 91% pass rate last time in our MCS session. And out of all the students who attempted MCS exams, 7 of them achieved more than 100 marks. So you are simply supposed to get 80 marks of 150, but 7 of our students got more than 100 marks. How did they achieve it? Because they stuck to the study plan. So out of the 7 students, 6 of them came through the master's gateway program. So they were clueless about the CIMA syllabus or how a CIMA case study worked, but they simply stuck to our study plan, and they simply attempted mocks as per the guidelines which we provided, and they simply went through the services which we offer, and they were able to pass the exam comfortably. And all these students allocated just 7 to 8 hours of study time per week, nothing more. Okay, so if you replicate the same methodology, you are in a position to pass your exam comfortably as well. All right, any questions, guys? There is a question. Please, can you explain IFRS 15 related to the pre-scene? Yeah, so Anastatus, we have actually covered this within one of our mock exams. So because if I'm supposed to explain IFRS 15 in depth, I have to mention all the measurement criteria, which is aligned with IFRS 15, which is going to take a lot of time. So I'm not going to do it within this session, but we have covered this within our mock exams. And on top of that, we have already, within the 2 master classes which we have conducted, we have highlighted this. If I'm not mistaken, in mock number 2 we highlighted this area. So I urge you to follow that, and if you still feel that you need some type of guidance, then I will share a document with you, because it's going to take a lot of time if I try to explain IFRS 15. Any other concerns or questions? Any questions, folks? All right, seems like there aren't any more concerns. So it brings us to the end of tonight's webinar. So you can simply contact us via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com, or drop us an email on info@study@tcs.com, or simply WhatsApp us utilizing this number. And we urge you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially check out the blog posts via the website, because these blog posts highlight technical information which are relevant for your MCS exam. It seems like it's not loading. Yeah, I'll come back to that. So these blog posts highlight technical information which are extremely relevant for your exam. And all these sessions, the recorded versions of the 4 webinars are uploaded on YouTube as well. I urge you guys to subscribe our YouTube channel. And on top of that, the TikTok videos will be shared in the upcoming week, where we are providing a summary of the entire pre-scene within 9 minutes via 3 TikTok videos. I'm extremely sorry that there had been a delay in this area, but I promise that in the next week we will release this. So you are supposed to check out these 3 videos on a weekly basis, on a daily basis in the upcoming 3 weeks, with the intention of revising or reminding yourself about the most important information which are highlighted within the pre-scene. So having said that, it brings us to the end of tonight's session. So thank you very much, guys, for attending the webinars. And this will be the last webinar conducted under the free content. So you have just 3 weeks at your disposal. If you are yet to invest on exam standard mocks and pre-scene relevant study material, I urge you guys to do it right now, because you only have 3 weeks. And if you have already invested, you have to start attempting mocks right now. So having said that, I wish you all the very best, and please reach out to us if you have any concerns, any issues. We are glad to help. Having said that, let me thank you, and good night, and take care.